Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is going to be BSL Hasuleague round of 32 Group D. We got flying starting in the upper left-hand corner is the blue Zerg. Sorry, bottom left-hand corner is the blue Zerg. Upper left-hand corner we got Bayagster as the Peach Protoss. This is on Polypoid. Sometimes hard to tell with the glowy Nexus. Yeah, this will be on Polypoid. Looks like Overlord Scout's going to bottom right-hand corner first for flying, so isn't going to have that scouting advantage. Other side of the bracket, we've got Bloomster and Lancer X. Lancer X, I'm expecting to get out of this group pretty solidly. He's oftentimes a Hasuleague participant, so I'm surprised to see him in Hasuleague, and he goes pretty deep sometimes. I think he's got up in a Pro League once or twice as well. So strong competitors all the way around here in Hasuleague. I'm really looking forward to the Rancor Urbmon group, which is coming up, by the way, so look forward to that. I'm not kidding. This is a good season of Hasuleague we got rolling. But Flying and Bayagster, both part of Team MG, solid players as well. And they're also two guys where if they play their best, I could see them going all the way. And I know it sounds like I'm being repetitive at the start of each of these commentaries saying that. There's certain guys I definitely favor, but I really do feel that about like other seasons, I'll be like, okay, this guy might make it to the round of 16, this guy might make it to the round of 8, but rarely am I like every single competitor is a threat. I think there are a few guys here that maybe are less favored, but every single guy I see in this grouping is just really, really, really strong. So I'm excited for the level of play as well. Bayagster going to get the first scout, going to check bottom left-hand corner. I'm trying to think if we've seen Bayagster. I remember commentating him again, so I'm pretty sure he's been in previous rounds of Hasuleague flying. Flying Brood War, check him out on Twitch. Decent competitor. He's opened up with a spawning pool build first. Let's see if he, I assume that means he's going to fill the initial Zerglings and going mid-map initially, and now going to scale back. But look at this, we're seeing a 2 gateway opener from Bayagster as well, so going one base play. Very unusual meta from both players, and I'm wondering if this has to do with familiarity, or this is just an adjustment on Bayagster's part, noticing the opening pool and didn't want to deal with it. So now 2 gates been spotted, but this still can end up being a challenging situation, particularly as the second hatchery comes online. So you have room where you can get initial zealots in sizable numbers versus the Zerglings, but once that second hatchery is in play and the larvae are there, you can get swarmed very, very rapidly. So playing 2 gate versus Zerg is a very, very tender situation both directions, where you need to make sure that you're getting good trades with your zealots, that you're not getting overwhelmed by the Zerglings, etc., etc. And on the opposite side for flying, he needs to make sure that he doesn't overproduce. And look at the zealot pocketing mid-map, just going to hide there as the Zerglings making the way across. This zealot could be a big factor if it scoots its way back around. Right now, though, flying primarily focusing on denying that additional scout, and he's already going up to 3 hatcheries. Is this going to be 3 hatchery? So he's dropping an extractor. I presume this is not going to be 3 base all-in Zergling, but there is that possibility still. Has not continued to drone up. He's still producing Zerglings. I think that's respecting the 2 gate, and it could be what the plan of this is to clutter this front door. He is dropping a Sunken Colony as well. He's going to clutter that front door in order to try to deny as much information as possible. In the meantime, Bayagster has not yet dropped the Vespene Geyser. He's produced 5 zealots, it looks like. He's making his way across, and he needs to get a move on because the Sunken Colony is already morphing. And this is a pretty decent sim city between that and the Zerglings. A single Zergling peeling off to deal with that to the front. The Zergling making its way out is going to be able to break away. Nice bit of micro right there. So we got, what, 12 Zerglings versus 5 zealots. That is a winning scenario for the zealots, but not with the Sunken Colony in play. So the zealots, are they going to dedicate? I honestly, with this, I think Bayagster, wise decision. He's just going to go out. He sees the hatchery. He's just going to back off. Going to work on getting that natural expansion up and just keep that threat open and active out in the field. At this rate, he's denied a 3rd base, certainly, but he does need to keep an eye on the Zergling count, particularly as Zergling speed is coming online, to see what his opponent flying is up to. And flying, starting to move out with the Zerglings, taking a bit of a hit there by continuing to build additional zealots and press towards the front. We do finally see an assimilator coming online. Flying is maybe supply blocked himself right this second, and I don't see any additional tech. It looks like he just got an... This does look like a Zergling all in from here because he's pulled off gas. He hasn't built any additional drones. He has, however, Overlord blocked himself right this second, And so that's really going to slow down what is presumably going to turn into all-in Zerglings to follow this up. And we don't have a Forge up yet, nor do we have any defenses at natural expansion. So there's no clutter to defend this Nexus. There are a lot of Zealots and 2 gateways, however, potentially to turn this into 1-base play. But if it's dropped to 1 base, that's theoretically a winning situation for flying overall, because it'll be 1 base versus 2 base and a starvation match from there. Shield battery being constructed. Zergling speed is finished, and Probe's going to go ahead and try to block that lane. And flying, not yet committing. So that shield battery is going to finish. That's going to provide a little bit of additional buffer. But look at all the Zerglings starting to flood across the map at this stage, trying to bait the Zealots out. Now moving. And this is the do or die micro moment. Some nice step back shield battery regeneration. But this looks like it is just too many Zerglings. So the Zealots peeling back, trying to get some better concavity, but just too much from flying. And Baya, yeah, I think made a mistake by not keeping the Zealots towards the front to scout, nor getting a clutter up or a forge up in time. Trying to drop a Citadel of Adun, maybe to go for, trying to get another shield battery as well, maybe to go for emergency Dark Templar to try to salvage this. Another drone has been dropped in the main. What was it even for? It looks like the drones have moved to the natural expansion in the meantime for flying. So maybe Zealot, I must have missed a Zealot sneaking in there, getting a couple kills. 6 Zealots still remaining, but more Zerglings on the way. And this is going to be a second flood control group. And the Zealot's somewhat away from that shield battery. So now getting flooded, the Probes once again evacuating the natural expansion. The Zerglings getting a good, so shield battery hits. Now keep in mind that doesn't make them like a full additional Zealots, but some nice micro from Baya to make these Zealots last all the longer. And right now it looks like with the Probes doing a good drill, they're going to defend this. And flying was all in for quite some time when he wasn't producing anything additional. So he's got to get it done with the Zerglings on the ground, and it looks like it's not going to happen. That back end shield battery providing, it looked like there were moments there where flying was going to take it, but beautiful defense thus far. It's not quite over. There's some more Zerglings coming out, but now the Zealot production is such where it's looking very, very comfortable. We have a Citadel of Forge actually here in the background, 3 gateway production, and 2 bases up, which 2 base versus 2 base, especially with only 7 drones in the background, that's a big advantage. And what I'll do is I'll rewind the replay in a bit. But right now what it looks like is that Bayagster has held it. Flying just trying to buy himself a little bit of time here. This is only, he's only denying what, six probes overall, and soon these Zealots are going to be able to overwhelm, and there's no anti-air right now, and the Zealots actually just marching out. That's a bit of a mistake, because here's is this going to be the mistake of the game here? So the Zealots are careening for a potential base trade, but the Zerglings still in large numbers going to be able to slot through, one of them getting into the main. Probes now pulling back. The Zealots are still marching forward. So the Zergling's going to get some probe kills, probably going to get the natural expansion, a cannon dropping in the main. Stargate up, so what I thought was a Bayagster win. He moves all of his Zealots out of position, which is giving opportunities to flying. So cannon goes down in the main. Zealots are swarmed. Zerglings are now on the probe lines. No Corsair being built, which might have been a game capper. Still a massive worker lead, but this is also a single pylon powering those gateways. The gateway's now unpowered, leaving a single gateway. The probes coming back. The Zealots have made it back. But this is still not a flying victory. This is honestly really close both directions. Another pylon dropping, but another surge of Zerglings making their way up for flying to the natural. They certainly should be able to take down the Nexus, but it looks like he wants to go ahead and go for the kill. The Zerglings trying to press their way through. The Zerglings have not careened back to the main, or sorry, to the natural to try to pin the Zealots in on the ramp. The pylon back up, so that there's going to be more gateway production from there, but the probes are getting hit. I'm going to have to widen the view just to show you where all the action has come from. A couple of the Zerglings pulling out for I'm not sure what reason. That might just be a micro mistake there on flying. He's trying to pull back. The Zerglings have mostly been cleaned up. They're going to go ahead and withdraw for now to regroup. The Zealots now have leg speed, which is going to help them counter these Zerglings quite a bit, because the Zergling speed is going to be less effective. Effectively, they don't have the speed advantage on the ground. Pylon's going to get taken out, but the Nexus still stands. The shield battery has been heroic at keeping these Zealots sturdy, and it's still a 20 double supply lead. And as soon as this Corsair's popped out, that should be it, because there's no anti-air. And again, now as Bayagster just holds the Zealots at the natural expansion, I don't think this is going to be sufficient for flying to break. Corsair on the way, more Zealots producing, flying diving in once again. Not the best concavity this time. The Zealots getting a good swarm around, and Some of them that are weakened retreating the shield battery nearly immediately. And Flying is left just sitting outside the natural expansion. Put up a good game. It looks like one Zealot got pulled off that control group. Another Zealot, he's just scouting, looking to see what the dedication was here. We have a little bit of additional dronage, but it is far too late because right now we got that Corsair making its way across. That single Corsair can wreck all of the Overlords, and that should be it. Yeah, and there is 0 anti-air. So scouting the main, going to see 0 gas, going to see continued Zergling production. Just needs to turn around and start hunting these Overlords. Just attack the Overlords, and that should be it. More cannons dropped at the natural expansion. Flying taking some damage and pulling back out. He's got maybe one more good attempt to try to sweep in, but the pylons are being dropped. There's already a cannon there. There's a cannon at the main as well, just in case the Zerglings sweep through, and a slew of Zealots with +1 weapons. And that +1 weapon is a big, big deal in this matchup, let me tell you. And the Corsair, oh, what are you doing? Honestly, I'm a little bit confused by this play. The Corsair right now is running out of position. There's no, and what is going on here? Is this a broken replay? Not sure what's, maybe Baya just distracted here. The Zergling's trying to sweep in. Just making, okay, it looks like he's just using it to scout to make sure that there's not a third base. Marching out to engage now. Wholesale engaging, recognizing it didn't matter. Now he's just got too many Zealots. Overwhelming production. 3 gates, some Zealots sticking at the main just in case. But he should be able to, at this stage, just march to the natural and finish this off. He just needs to not let this happen, over-dedicate. Some Zealots still hanging out in the main. Bayagster having some trouble with his control group there, but Flying GGing at the end. Well played altogether. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Wild one to start. Haven't seen one like that in quite some time. Thank you guys for listening.